Hello, Leglever here, and we're back today on F1 2020. As you can see, we're here at Mexico, and we're doing another track guide today. As always, we're doing one lap at full speed, one lap in detail, and then I'll show you the setup. That was the lap then. As you can see, it's a 1 minute 13.1. Just quickly, I would like to show that I did end up improving by another tenth. Unfortunately, I didn't have that lap on recording. Obviously, I did, I would have showed that one. But we're going to go in detail for this lap then. Starting at the final corner, taking an extra wide line to carry as much speed as possible onto this straight. Activate the DRS and just keep the line smooth down the main straight so you don't scrub off any speed. Heading into turn 1, braking point is just before the 100-meter board, and you can see we are starting on the curb. We're using all of the track, including that green AstroTurf area, and through turn 1 use all of the curb. Through turns 2 and 3 you really have to nail the sausage curbs. We don't do it on that occasion, so already we could have gained a little bit more time, but overall not bad. Activating the DRS on exit, use the exit curb, and then heading into turn 4, the braking point is that 100-meter board. Use the outside curb on entry, and then use the red and white curbs on the apex, but do not touch the sausage curbs, especially on turn 5 right there. And then exiting turn 5, short shift into 3rd, short shift into 4th, and heading into turn 6, start braking just as that light post on the left goes out of view. Use the red and white curbs and focus on the exit. Short shift into 3rd, use all of the exit curb, and then head into this S section. The braking point is just as you pass underneath that Petronas billboard. Not 100% brake pressure. Use the red and white curbs, and then through the S section use as much curbs as possible. And heading through this final part of the S section, you want to use as much of the track as you can get away with so that you can scrub off the least amount of speed. Activate the DRS and into the 3rd sector, start on the curb, and the braking point is that 100-meter board for this corner. Use all of the track on entry, use all of the inside curb, and then on exit, short shift into 5th, use all of the exit curb. For the hairpin, start braking around 5 to 10 meters before that curb on the right starts, and not 100% brake pressure, easy to lock the brakes, and you can see on the apex that we're just rolling the car through before we go back full throttle. Use the red and white curbs, but don't touch the sausage curb. Use all of the track on the left, and then use the red and white curb on the right on the apex of the second to last corner. And on the final corner, keep a tight line to finish off your lap at Mexico. We're going to go in detail for each part of the setup now. Starting off with the aero, we're using 2/8 wings. Obviously, we need to be quick in a straight line, so we're using that low front wing so we can be quick down all of these long straights at Mexico. But along with that straight line speed, it's important that we have a lot of rear stability around this track because there are a lot of traction zones as well as lots of high speed corners, which is why we're running that 8 rear wing. And for the transmission, we're using 50-55. You could try and lower the off-throttle differential if you want a bit more rotation, but I just found that the car was a bit too slidey for me when I lowered it, so I just stuck with 55 on the off-throttle. For the suspension geometry, we're going with a bit of a different setup here than normal. Front camber is negative 2.5 as usual, and the toe is minimum as usual. But for the rear camber, normally I'd be running negative 2, but around here I'm using negative 1, and that's because I found a lot of rotation in other parts of the setup, to the point where negative 2 on the rear just didn't feel right for this setup, and I was fine using negative 1 on the rear camber, and the car was not only stable, but it provided lots of rotation as well. For the suspension, we're using 110 on the suspension, 19 on the anti-roll bars, and 34 on the ride height. And this may seem like some aggressive settings, and if it does feel a bit too oversteery for you, then you could obviously lower it, but I did find this to be quite stable. For the brakes, using 100% brake pressure and 50% brake bias, as always. And then for the tire pressures, we're using minimum, nothing unusual there. That's going to be it for today's track guide. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. If there's anything you think I could do better while making these videos, or if there's anything you'd like to see in these videos, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.